Aloha mai kako e nā hoa makamaka mai ka la hiki a ka la kau. Velina nui mai ke aloha. A mahalo nui no ke ako ko ana o ka ko no ka pono o ka hui, no ka pono o ka aina, a me ka pono o ka waina hoi. Ea he o lalo no e ao e kalele ana I ke koi o nā poe e a wamo ke kule ana o ka wai. He ho'okele wa'a no ka la ino. A canoe steersman for a stormy day, and that is in honor of the folks who come together to protect the water at every turn. Aloha, everyone, and welcome to today's November 25th, 2024 regular board meeting of the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Before beginning today's meeting, I'd like to state that our board is dedicated to providing safe, dependable, and affordable water now and into the future. At this time, we'd like to share a brief recording with reminders on public participation as well as virtual meeting regulations for board members as required by law.
Materials for this meeting under HRS Section 92-7.5 are accessible at boardofwatersupply.com/board meetings. The public may attend this meeting in person at the BWS Public Service Building, located at 630 South Baratania Street. The public may also view a live stream of today's meeting on our website at boardofwatersupply.com/live. We have been accepting written or oral testimony for today's meeting. Instructions and an online submittal form are available at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. The deadline to submit advanced written testimony has passed. Testimony received by noon today have been distributed to the board members. We will continue to accept written testimony today through our online form. Oral testimony in person or remotely will be accepted during today's meeting. To facilitate as much in-person and remote testimony as reasonably possible during the time allotted, pre-registration and submittal of a written version of testimony at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony is strongly encouraged. To testify in person, please register using our online form or come to the Public Service Building at 630 South Baratania Street. We have a representative in the lobby to provide intake and further instructions. To request to testify remotely, please complete the online form at boardofwatersupply.com/testimony. Requesters will receive an email containing links and instructions to join the Zoom session. Testifiers will have 2 minutes to state their position. A timekeeper will alert testifiers when there is 1 minute remaining. Once the 2 minutes are up, please summarize to allow time for questions from the board. Then, make room for the next testifier. Board members attending any board meeting remotely must be visible to the public to be considered present and meet quorum guidelines. Board members participating remotely must also disclose their location and anyone present at their location during roll call. Meeting participants who are calling or video conferencing in, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If you have a question, comment, or wish to enter or second a motion on an action item, please unmute your microphone and identify yourself before continuing to speak. If you encounter technical issues during today's meeting, please use the Zoom chat to send a direct message to our support team. Their names are listed in the message to all participants. To open the chat window, please click on the text bubble icon on the Zoom toolbar.
Okay, thank you. Let's take a moment to take a roll call of all board members. When I call your name, please say aye. And if attending remotely, make the appropriate disclosures. Board member Brian Andaya.
Aye. I'm in my private office.
In the room with us today, our number of board members, board member Kapua Sproat.
Hi,
It's good to see you in person.
thank you. It's good to see you. I love the bushes today for this.
Board member Lance Wilhelm,
Yep.
board member Gina Bono,
Aye.
and Ed and John are excused today. Also with us in the room today, manager Ernie Lau,
Aloha.
deputy manager Erwin Kawata. Aloha. Board secretary Joy Cruz Achu.
Here.
Aloha. Manager Secretary Kim Kwai. Aloha. And Information Specialist Wayne Maria. Aloha, Wayne. Jeff Lau and Jessica Wong, both from City and County Corp Council, are with us on the Zoom as well. Listen, we just have 2 action items for the board today, so it should be a short meeting. So item for recurring board action number 1, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting held October 28th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So second.
Okay, it's been moved by Kapua and seconded by Lance. Are there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Kapua Sproat,
Aye.
Board Member Brian Antaya,
Aye.
Board Member Lance Willen,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Vana,
Aye.
Chair Nale Huanping.
Aye.
Chair motion passes with 5 ayes.
Okay, thank you. Please note for the record. Item requiring board action, number 2, adoption of resolution number 994, 2024 resolution of appreciation for board member Kapua Sproat. Chair recognizes Ernie Lau.
Thank you, Chair. It's kind of a sad day that a friend, I would call her a sister, is going to end her term serving on the Board of Water Supply. It's which started, I think, back in 2016. Hard to believe, Kapua. But she's going to be ending her term, and this will be her last meeting. So, Chair, if you could allow me to read the resolution in honor of Kapua Sproat in appreciation for serving as a member of the Board of Water Supply. Whereas Kapua Sproat has ably served as a member of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, since May 2015, and as Vice Chair from August 17 through June 2024. Her term will be ending on November 25th, 2024. So today is her last meeting. Whereas as a professor of law at the University of Hawaii at Manoa's Williams S. Richardson School of Law, Kahuliao Center for Excellence in Native Hawaiian Law and Environmental Law Program, Director of Kahuliao, Co-Director of the Native Hawaiian Law Clinic, and Counsel for Earth Justice, Mid-Pacific Regional Office. Ms. Sproat's reputation in academic and legal spheres, coupled with the esteem of her colleagues, and I just would add the entire community of Hawaii, has resulted in additional confidence in and respect for the board. And whereas the Board of Water Supply has greatly benefited from Ms. Sproat's experience with an extensive knowledge of Hawaii's environmental law and natural resource protection and management that lent to her credibility in discussions as she provided useful insights and guidance to its members and served as a helpful resource in its deliberations, and reminded its members of their public trust responsibilities. And whereas as Vice Chair and Board Member, Ms. Sproat has staunchly defended the Board of Water Supply, BWS's semi-autonomous governance model, supported and encouraged initiatives that improve day-to-day operations, and volunteered her time and expertise to affect business and policy decisions for the board that will positively impact the direction and operation of the Board of Water Supply for many years to come. And whereas Ms. Sproat's service is a testament to her commitment to maintaining a municipal water system that is safe, dependable, affordable, and worthy of the trust of the public it serves. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the members of the Board of Water Supply, City and County of Honolulu, that we do hereby express to Kapua Sproat our deep appreciation and gratitude for her committed service to this board and department. And be it further resolved that the members of the Board of Water, this board, extend to Kapua Sproat our sincere aloha and best wishes for continued success in all her future endeavors. Mahalo, Chair.
Mahalo. If I could just say a few words, Kapua, we're just so incredibly thankful for your guidance and wisdom on any number of issues. Known Kapua for years and years before this, and just in awe of the expertise that you bring on all the hard stuff. I know this is not goodbye. I'm sure that you will be at this podium from time to time as issues persist, and I'm really looking forward to that. And the thing that I would add is just a huge thanks for the work that you're doing outside of this boardroom that affects positively boards and commissions throughout Hawaii, and the classes that you folks run at Kahuliao on nights and in the in-between spaces to allow for people to really I think in some instances it's like find the courage, and others it's like shake off the rust and enter into these spaces, because these are the important places that allow us to advocate in ways that keep Hawaii. And this is like in so many ways that we've seen for water, ground zero for us to advocate in a positive way, in a way that really makes a difference. And I want to acknowledge that publicly in this setting, because of the kind of contribution that you've made with your team at Kahuliao, and just how thankful I am that we've gotten to spend this time together on the board. And then, as chair, I've been so grateful that we have a legal mind that can help us navigate these murky waters from time to time. So just huge thanks, and I'm so happy that you could come on your last meeting to hang out with us for a minute. I did want to turn it over to the other members if there's anything else.
Sure. Well, Kapua, I am one of the least tenured of the
It's not
on the board.
It's not
No, not the- And what stood out to me was truly simply your passion for. I'm hopeful to be able to match that enthusiasm that exudes the importance of water. And I just wish you all the best in your future endeavors, and thank you for your 10 years of service. That's a long time. Yeah, as we came up here, your kid was 10 years old, now they're out of high school. So all the best, and thank you for your service. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
As the least tenured, I would say, we tend to call those with more experience than us kupuna, which it's probably not a term you would be
I'm
comfortable with.
embracing
But I would say that we, all of us in places like this, learn from those who came before, and for that I am grateful and humbled to follow in your footsteps, and will pledge to do what I can to be half as effective as you've been while you're here.
Brian has his hand up as well. Brian.
Yeah, aloha. Kapua, I'm so sorry I'm not there in person. I really wanted to be there in person. I was 10 years, just 6 months right after you. So it's been almost 10 years that we've served together. And you really helped bring balance to the board, which I really appreciated your expertise in Native Hawaiian issues and environmental issues, something that the board really needed, and something that I needed when we were chair and vice chair. We had such great teamwork, and I can't thank you enough for all the support that you've given throughout the years. And I hope that our paths will continue to cross out there, because I'd really love to work with you, continue working with you. So thank you very much for everything. And again, my best regards.
Oh, Brian.
And and before we go a little bit further, there's a couple of people who are on Zoom, and then a couple who wanted to say something here in the meeting. So anyone who has, I know some folks signed up, and then some folks showed up. So I know, if you want to go first.
Noi me ke aloha ia kākua pauloa e nā lala o ke ia aha, ka luna ho o kele, nā lala e ae, ia oe ke alakai. Ke kahu ana, ka malama ani ka wai Ernie, ke aloha nui ia oe. Ia oe e ko wahine no eau, wahine na au wao, wahine loea. O kākua aina aloha, e kapua ala. On behalf of Kuhio Lewis, the CEO of the Council for Native Wine Advancement. Myself as the ambassador of our organization, Ke aloha nui no Ya'oi. Mahalo anui ka mauhana maikai. Mahalo anui ko okupa'a. No ko kako lahui me ko kako aina. Kamalama anui kawai. Ola I kawai o kanaloa e ola. Ola I kawai o ku'u aina e ola. Ola I kawai no naka naka e ola. E ola. E ola ola I kawai o kanaloa e ola. Ola I kawai o ku'u aina e ola. Ola I kawai no naka naka e ola, e ola. E ola I kawai o kanaloa e ola. Ola I kawai o ku'u aina e ola. Ola I kawai no naka naka e ola, e ola, e ola e. Ola, ola, ola I kawai, ola Ya'oi, Kapua ala. Mahalo.
Anyone else wishing to say a few words? Okay, hearing none,
I would,
Ernie.
Chair, if you allow me,
Ernie, so make me cry, Ernie.
and no lie, I will miss you. I've known Kapua probably over 20 years now, I think.
Yep.
And Kauai, I even had the honor of working with her dad. He was a fire chief, and the Sproat family is amazing on Kauai. Kapua, you know, through the years, you've helped to bring knowledge or ike to me about our trust responsibilities. And there were times I just say that my brain was sore. My heart was sore too, is because it was being stretched to try to comprehend the importance of public trust. Public trust to our water, to our vai, but also, and I'm still struggling with this, I'm still getting stretched by you, and you can continue to stretch me later, even after you leave the public trust responsibilities to our Kanaka Maoli in our community who were here before before I was here, and the respect that is necessary going forward. So, Kapua, I just want to mahalo you for everything you've done for the board, for the BWS. You helped steer us through difficult waters. I think Red Hill was just unfolding. Started back in 2014, but when you started with the board in 2015, you helped keep us on a steady path to hold the US military accountable for what they have done to our resource and to our community. And if it wasn't for you, I think we would not have been able to steer that course steadily for the last decade. So I just want to mahalo you, Kapua. I'm not gonna make you cry. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's been such an honor, really, and a privilege to be able to be here at this table physically or virtually for the last decade. As Ernie said, back when we started, in fact, I remember going through the confirmation hearings and Red Hill was still very much in its infancy. We didn't have, for better or for worse, all of the information that we have now. And it's been such an incredible learning experience, in good ways and bad. But I've been grateful for the opportunity to be able to contribute, both here and in the community. And I do feel like even though I have to say these are incredibly unprecedented times, and I couldn't have imagined in 2015 when I signed on that we would be where we are today with the greatest, I think, threat to our drinking water on Oahu, very much unresolved. But I have high hope and great expectations for this board and for the leadership, not just around this table, but also within the department. And I feel like it's in such good hands, and this really isn't goodbye, it's more ahuiho. I'll be back. And I will also always be a resource for you folks if you ever need me.
You know, if you wait a term, you can always serve again.
I actually thought it was 10 years and done.
I think that if you have a break, you can come back. Much like what's happening on the federal level.
Right. Well, let's not compare too much to us. We are above and beyond. Head and shoulders, very different. But no, it's been such an honor, and I've really enjoyed being able to work with you and Barry and Joe, and my goodness, so many of the folks that we started out with have retired. I mean, and I also think it in many ways comes full circle back in the old Waiahole days. We were on opposite sides of the table, right? And yet here we are, all sitting around the same table.
Like the Rapon brothers and yeah.
Working towards the same
We
goal.
are together.
And I think that that's really where we need to be, right?
I'm wondering if you can give us, lowly, non-lawyer, not senior, board members, any advice that you have learned in your tenure here?
I certainly can, but I think that's more for discussion over cocktails. Perhaps not appropriate for a sunshine meeting. The most effective advice, at least, no. You know, for better, for worse, I always stay true to my na'au, which makes me not a very good politician, because in the end, I'm always down for the lahui and what's gonna be needed for the resource, whether that's popular or not. And Ernie and I have I remember in the very beginning of the Red Hill days, when the two of us were and Brian were getting so much hassles for the strong stance that we were taking to protect the resource. And if we knew then what we know now, we would be I think we would have taken an even stronger stand.
Yeah.
So, I just encourage you folks to always, do what's right.
You know, I during a tour of Red Hill with Kapua.
Yep.
I saw Kapua basically just take apart a rear admiral in front of my eyes on the van. And he didn't stand for any baloney that was being shared, and just very, very tactfully and nicely just asked questions until it's like they didn't want to have her ask any more questions.
Then it left, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think it's always, yeah. And that's something I think that we take from, the namesake of our law school, Chief Justice Richardson, was always tough on the issues, but easy on the people. I think especially as we move forward in these increasingly difficult times, Kapua Aloha will be even more important. That has to guide our decision-making and a way forward. But like I said, I have so much confidence in this board. And sheesh, Brian, you're not too far behind me. We're the old guard, but excited about, what's yet to come. So, and I am serious. I'm always happy to be a resource for the board.
Thank you. We'll take you up on that. Thank you. I just have one online. I wanna just see if Wayne can you hear us?
Yes.
Welcome, Wayne.
Hi. Good afternoon. Wayne Tanaka with Sierra Club of Hawaii. Just want to real quickly, thank Member Sproat for the incredible leadership she's demonstrated during her tenure as a member of the Board of Water Supply. When you think about it, the Board of Water Supply and Water Commission are two of the most important government entities that we have, right? I mean, you can't have life without water. You can't have housing or tourism or an economy or anything else other people care about, and which means there really isn't time for fooling around, right? There's no time for the kind of political games that we see in so many other agencies. And that's why we need, the brightest, smartest, most brilliant people with the highest levels of integrity serving, on this board. If we, want to have a hope in a water secure and just future. That's what Kapua has brought and given to us and inspired so many of us in so many ways. And just want to say how grateful we are for that, whether it's dealing with, all of the really critical decisions in infrastructure and costs or to Red Hill or Kapukaki. And just as a personal note, I wouldn't be here today if it were not for Professor Sproat and all of her guidance and everything she's taught me when I was at Richardson Law School and beyond that. And yeah, and it's because of her, I think I personally aspire to do what I can to contribute the skills that she's given me and back to this, this place that we call home, this beautiful Hawaii. So yeah, sorry, I don't want to talk too long, but just, thank you so much, Member Sproat, and for the entire board for, your steady hand during some pretty trying times these last few years. Mahalo nui.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne.
My RA back in.
Really?
So makes me proud.
That's a testament to as what's possible when you're putting in the kind of long version of the tracks that allow others to come up and lead as well, side by side. So thank you. Madam Secretary, anyone else online?
No, Chair, no,
Okay.
there testifiers online.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Brian, second by Jean. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Lance Wilhelm,
Aye.
Board Member Gina Bano,
Aye.
Board Member Brian Azayam,
Aye.
Board Member Chair Nale Anthony.
Aye.
Chair, motion passes with 4 ayes and 1 abstention.
Thank you. Please note for the record. I'd also just would like to take a 5-minute break. Can I get a motion to approve for just a 5-minute break?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none? 5-minute break. Thank you. Meeting's back in session. So we just have a few items for information. Item number 1, update on the Board of Water Supply's response to the potential impacts of the Red Hill fuel contamination. Chair recognizes Joyce Lynn. Hello, Joyce.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members. I'm Joyce Lin with the Manager and Chief Engineer's Office, presenting the November 2024 Red Hill update. So this past month, we had these 3 notable events, specifically the subject matter expert meeting where we discussed the new released Navy's groundwater flow modeling report. So earlier this month, the EPA announced that the 3 reports on the Navy's groundwater model has been released. As expected, the reports were very lengthy and heavily redacted. For example, here we have a figure 2-26 from the groundwater report. And as you can see, it's a particle simulation of when the Halawa shaft is pumping at 12 million gallons per day. However, the conditions of what the Navy's nearby sources are pumping, we have no idea what it is. It's all blacked out on the bottom right corner. And this is typically what all the figures and a lot of the technical information were like in the report. So we couldn't really get much of the information out of that report. However, what I could sort of summarize from what I've been seeing is that the Board of Water Supply's decision to close the 3 nearby sources near Red Hill, our Halawa Shaft, our Halawa wells, and Aiea wells was a good decision and correct decision in preventing contamination from entering our system, because if you can see in all of the simulations where Halava shaft was turned on, there were particle tracks that led to our source. And it's a little small, but if you look towards the left side where Kala'au's wells are, Ka'amilo wells, sorry, we also have a lot of particle track that tracks to the west. And then following the next week, it was announced that the Office of Inspector General released 3 alarming reports on the assessment of the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility, mainly on their operation, on their response to the November 2021 spill event, as well as the AFFF event the following 2022. I know a lot of you might have seen this on the news medias already, but in general, the Office of Inspector General noted that the Navy officials did not effectively manage the facility, and they had missed multiple opportunities to prevent or mitigate the November 2021 fuel incident, and that they had failed to take all the precautionary measures to protect human health. And so just to summarize, for upcoming events, we are still looking for more information and more clarity on the Navy's groundwater model. Tentatively, we are scheduled to meet with the Navy Closure Task Force beginning of December. So hopefully we will have more information from there. This concludes my update, and I'll be available for any questions.
Members, any questions?
Chair, if
Ernie?
I just noticed today that some of the Navy sent a email to all board members about the December, it's actually a December 10th meeting with their swarm team. This is to talk about the Navy's water quality, 2 years of water quality tests. Also, they're now into the extended drinking water monitoring program. I just want to note for the board members, they sent that to all 7 board members. I just would caution the board members from actually participating, because when you have more than 2 board members present in a meeting, whether it's in person or virtual, it needs to be properly sunshined, and that meeting needs to be a public meeting where the public has an opportunity to also attend. So I'll be communicating to the Navy to point that out, that what they ask them what is their intent, because if they were intending to have more than 2 board members there, then this meeting would have to be sunshine according to Hawaii law and be open to the public. Is that correct, Council Sproat?
Look at me. But I'm sure Jessica and, yes, we do comply with 92F, so we do have to comply.
So then where there's more than 2 board members, that needs to be basically a public meeting that's properly
Okay,
disclosed.
we need to coordinate that well. Is it a hybrid meeting, Ernie, or is it just in person?
It's in hybrid, not in person, it's virtual. Yeah. So I will be responding back to the Navy to point that out and see if that's their intent, because they, prior to that, I wasn't aware that they were gonna invite all 7 board members to this meeting.
Okay,
Which is a meeting that was basically to go over their response to our laboratory analysis experts of the long-term monitoring plan.
okay, good. Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? I just have one. You know the particle track that you showed with all the redactions?
Yep.
So that's the new updated version of the particle track set that we saw a couple of years ago, that everyone had kind of said, okay, this is not the right set of inputs.
In the report, there were multiple iterations, multiple runs, but all of them were heavily redacted like this, where they shows what the condition is for the border water source, which is Halava shaft. But we don't know any of the conditions that the Navy is running when they ran those simulations.
So it's really hard for us to be able to chime in and say.
We don't know what the conditions were that led to the particle track.
Do you know, was the previous particle track set like that, where they redacted out the inputs?
the redactions in this report is actually more extensive than the previous 2020 version. You can see all that black area, we think the one on the right below the circles, probably Red Hill Shaft and the fuel tanks around that area.
Sure.
So the IA
And
halal.
then in the middle of the page, that black rectangle is probably the Halava Shaft, which is, the Navy is installing a water treatment system with 12
GAC.
GAC
Yeah.
ion exchange contactors.
Okay, and did many of the conditions with Halava Shaft running have particles running to it?
I noticed, yes. And
Okay.
there was at least one other simulations where actually Halava Shaft was off and we still had one truck go towards the source.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Any other questions?
Joyce, if you could bring up the OIG report, the graphic with the 3 reports. This side. Please, board members, if you have a chance to read this, it's only a few, maybe 100+ pages. I just say when I started to go through this and skim through it, my first reaction was anger. That this is what we have been worried about. You know, Kapua, you talked about 2015 and first learned about this in 2014, and we asked these questions and they were never forthcoming. In this OIG report just confirms our worst fears that this is actually worse than we had thought. And so, board, I just want to holler all of you for continuing the efforts to support accountability to the military here to address what they have created. And these reports, which I assume also may not tell the full story, but the little story that it does tell is pretty disturbing.
And for board members, for the meeting on the 10th, it's a pretty rare meeting that we get an opportunity to ask the questions. If you folks can't make it and have questions,
Yeah, Chair, the only thing is right now, I'm just suggesting board members don't come because it'll be violating state law and the sunshine law.
well,
Or up to 2.
we can take 2.
Two,
We can take 2. I'm coming.
Chair,
Yeah,
Chair, and one more.
yeah. And actually, we have a now ex-board member.
Count.
Oh, you got the invite.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
If you cannot come and you have questions, just send them to Joy and I'll make sure that they get put into the mix as well.
Yeah, I will
Yeah,
be
thank you.
responding today to the Navy and see if that was their actual intent to actually create a meeting that was had to be
Yeah, I'm sure.
public.
Okay.
We plan to have our laboratory experts there, hear the rebuttal from the Navy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Joyce.
Moving on to number 2, financial update for the quarter ended in September 30, 2024. Chair recognizes Kaliko Lamki.
Good afternoon, board chair and members. Nico Lamki here to provide the financial performance report for the period July 2024 to September 2024. So this slide shows budget to actual for that period, July to September 2024. Actual revenues were 81.9 million versus the budgeted revenues of 80.4 million. Operating costs were 64.5 million versus the costs of 69.4 million. And the actual net revenue was 17.4 million versus budgeted net revenue of 11 million. Auction operations for that same period, personnel actual 11.5 million versus budget of 14.3. Materials, supplies and services actual of 20.2 versus a budget of 23.3. Equipment, no actual versus a budget of 1.3 million. Debt service, 8.9 million actual versus 11.9 million budget. And lastly, utilities, 8.5 million actual versus budget 10.2 million. So this slide shows our operating budget versus actual for the first quarter fiscal year 2025. Budgeted expenditures were 69.4 million versus the actual of 64.5, variance of 4.9 million. Fixed charges came in 2.3 million over budget. Information technology, 1.8 million over budget. Field operations, 2.8 million under budget. Water systems operations, 1.8 million under budget. Water resources was 1.7 million under budget, and executive support office was 1.6 million under budget. This slide shows our pie chart breaking down the total operating expenditures of the 64.5 million. That upper left part of the pie chart shows our biggest piece of the pie, fixed charges, 23.9 million or 37% of the pie. The bottom right, material supplies and services was the second largest at 20.2 million or 31%. The top right, personnel services was 18% or 11.5 million. And then lastly, the white shaded bottom left, debt service, came in at 8.9 million or 14% of the pie. This slide shows a bar chart comparing actual versus budgeted expenditures for those same categories. Personnel, services, materials and supply, debt service, as well as equipment, all under budget. The only one that's slightly above budget was our fixed charges category. This slide shows a bar chart for the operating expenditures for the first quarter. So the blue shaded bar is our actual expenditures. The yellow shaded bar shows our budgeted expenditures by month. And then you can see that red line and that darker line cutting across from the lower left to the top right. We have a 7.04 variance between budget and actual expenditures. So the budget came in 7.04% under budget. This slide shows our budgeted operating revenues for fiscal year 2025. So the blue shaded bar is our actual revenues by month. The orange shaded bar is our budgeted revenues by month. And then again, we have those same lines cutting across those bars from the lower left to upper right. And in this slide, we have our cumulative revenues coming in about 1.83% above budgeted revenues. And that concludes my presentation. Be happy to take any questions or comments.
Members, any questions? Thank you, Kaliko.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Item for information number 3, schedule of monthly board meetings for calendar year 2025. Ernie.
Chair, this is what we do every year. We kind of lay out the calendar of meetings. So please be sure to let Joy know ahead of time if you're able to make it or not make it. More importantly, because we need at least 4 board members to achieve quorum. Thank you, Chair.
Any questions, members? Joy, you gonna send over invites for those shortly?
Yeah.
Okay, those ahead of time are super helpful just to have blocked out on the calendar. We appreciate those. Thank you. Item for information number 4, status update of all groundwater levels at index stations. Chair recognizes Barry Usagal.
Chair and members, for October, we have 3 aquifer index stations in low groundwater status. Honolulu and Waialua are in caution, and Kaimuki is in critical, but it is recovering slowly. Our readings in the early part of November show some recovery. For the monthly production for October was 142 million gallons per day. The rainfall index for October was 120% of normal, and the 5-month moving average is 79%. The drought monitor shows still a drying trend towards the leeward coast. The National Weather Service is forecasting above normal precipitation through March. So we're going to predicting a wet winter, which is good for the aquifer and water resources. Most monitoring wells exhibited stable head levels because it was reflecting that higher rainfall that we've been seeing, and the seasonal decrease in production. You can see the rainfall totals, large rainfall in October, and hopefully the 5-month moving average start to bottom up and start increasing through the winter. And then in terms of pumpage or production, the October pumpage was slightly less than October, same time last year, 2023, and close to the 5-year monthly average. That's my report, and available for any questions.
Members, any questions? And Brian, I'm sorry, I didn't see you waving. If you want me to call.
It's okay.
Okay.
And Chair, if I may,
Yeah,
I wanted to thank Kapua for your friendship and wisdom and humor over the years. He helped us interpret the Waihuli Ditch contested case decision, Supreme Court decision, and help incorporate that in the public trust and the protecting and restoring Native Hawaiian rights into this Ahupua'a approach that we folded into our watershed management plans, the city's plans. I got 5 pretty much done. God willing, I'll be here finish on the rest of the 3.
I'm married.
The career goal, right? I can retire anytime, but I'm gonna do that first. Also, the guidance at the Freshwater Council for the freshwater blueprint for 100 million gallons of per day of climate resilient fresh water to 2030, helping us define that. And then, most importantly, the many insights that we shared over cocktails, that the Freshwater Council events, very enlightening. Mahalo and best wishes to you.
Very.
Thank you.
You're not rid of me yet. You'll still see me around.
Thank you very much. And last, but certainly not least, water main repair report for October 2024. Chair recognizes Wayne Tello. Hello, Wayne.
Good afternoon, Board Chair and members. Wayne Tello, Acting Program Administrator for Field Operations. I have my water main and leak detection report for the month of October. We had 35 main breaks, 24 were leaks, 10 were breaks, and 1 damage. Leak detection report. We had 50 points of interest. Out of the 50, we found 35 leaks. 3 were main leaks, 24 were meter coupling leaks, and 5 leak on customer side and 3 service leaks. That's my report for. Any questions?
Members, any questions? How's Wamanalo? They got water.
Yes, yes.
Okay, just making sure, Barry was talking about the Native Hawaiian rights to water. We just want to make sure Wamanalo is.
Have water.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Kapua and second by Lance. Madam Secretary, roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Board Member Brandon Daya,
Aye.
Board Member Lance Williams,
Aye.
Gina Vano, Board Member Sproat,
Aye.
and Chair Navin Landry.
I asked for the roll call vote because that can be her last vote on the Board of Water. To go eat, I vote aye. Okay,
For the
For the record.
5 ayes.
Yes.
Okay, please note for the record, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.